If only there was a drinks trolley that could trundle past and we could take something
If
from
only.
it, just for some refreshment. Could do with a little sharpener. Suze, what have you selected for us today?
Very refreshing today. Mango and ginger kombucha, which I thought would be delicious.
That does sound rather fine.
And great in the heat.
Also, Matt won't want any, so I can have his.
You can have double.
Certainly have mine.
Very good. That's very nice. Thank you very much. So today's confession comes from Nick in inverted commas. In fact, all these names I think are in inverted commas. I think it contains mild peril. So it's
really?
a PG, but then the first Toy Story film was a PG as well. So Father Simon, Brother Matt, Sister Susie. Fast approaching is my sister's 50th birthday, and I feel that it is now time to confess to an incident that happened more than 40 years ago. The year is 1984, and my older brother Matt had just started at secondary school. I've always, and still do, look up to Matt, so when he joined this school, I was keen to know what it had taught him so far. It seemed that the most important thing he'd learnt was how to play rugby, because this was a rugby playing school. No football here, that was for sissies, and expectations were high. I thoroughly enjoyed hearing the stories of hard-fought games, but my particular passion was to learn about the defensive side of the beautiful game, the art of tackling.
Yes.
This is where my sister, let's call her Lucy, comes in. I begged Matt to teach me how to tackle, rugby style. As a grumpy teenager, he was less than keen, but eventually agreed. However, he insisted that we needed a tackle bag. As we didn't own said tackle bag, it was decided that a large bean bag plus our sister would be the perfect replacement. After wedging a couple of doors open, ensuring that we could build up enough speed in our run, we were ready to begin. What could possibly go wrong? Father Simon, the first few tackles went swimmingly, with my brother and I honing our technique, making sure the tackles were hard enough for me to make the school team when I went there the following year. Unfortunately, what we'd failed to realise was that with every tackle, the beanbag had moved ever so closely to the rather substantially built doll's house that our dad had built for Lucy. This doll's house had been beautifully created over many weekends from large chunks of spare wood that our dad had lying around in his shed. However, its sturdiness was an issue as the final tackle came in, perfectly executed. It was a chop tackle from my brother. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like obviously hard.
Correct.
My applause was probably mistimed as Lucy fell. She was holding the bag, but she fell with it and her head hit the doll's house.
Oh, no.
This fall caused rather a large cut on the side of our sister's head and clearly required some treatment. After a brief discussion, my brother and I decided that we probably weren't best qualified, so perhaps we should inform our parents of this slight mishap. In our defence, Father Simon, as caring brothers, we immediately hatched a plan. We needed to ensure our sister got to A&E. However, more importantly, we must make sure that we were in the clear and didn't take the blame.
Yes.
So after lots of persuasion and perhaps a Chinese burn, different times, we managed to convince Lucy that she'd fallen from her bunk and hit her head on the way down, causing this injury. I think we might have overdone this a little bit, telling her that our mum and dad would be furious if they found out the truth, so she'd be much better off telling them our version. Well, fortunately, she agreed to go along with this. Our dad took her to the local hospital where they set about bandaging her up, but the staff were clearly suspicious about the validity of the story we had convinced our sister to recount. At one point, the doctor did take her to one side, away from our dad, and asked her, how did this really happen? Well, good for her. We'd done our job well, and she stuck to the story, and we were home and dry. As a thank you for keeping our names out of this incident, my brother and I went to the village shop to buy Lucy a quarter pound of cola cubes, which was her favourite. However, on the short walk home, we became peckish, and we thought she wouldn't miss a couple. But unfortunately for Lucy, cola cubes happened to be our very favourite sweet, so we chose to take the longer route home through the churchyard, which gave us just enough time to scoff the lot. But at least the thought was there, and we convinced ourselves that she would probably have concussion anyway, so wouldn't remember why she'd even gone to the shop, why we'd gone to the shop in the first place. Father Simon, I mean, you're on thin ground here, I have to say. I don't seek forgiveness from my sisters. There's no lasting damage from the injury, and because sugar is bad for you, so if anything, we did her a favour. Not even the doctor at A&E, who clearly thought the foul play had occurred, but rather my parents, in particular my father, who was the one having to sit in the waiting room as suspicious eyes from all the staff glared at him. There are countless stories from our childhood, but this one, after 40 years, this is the first that our parents have heard of this particular story. Wow. I mean, I have to say, Nick, if I was your father, I would be mightily displeased, even after all this time, of finding out the truth. But anyway, Nick finishes off by saying, happy 50th birthday, Lucy, who I'm sure is thrilled to hear this story. Sister Susie.
Well, Nick, I'm going to side with the younger sister. I'm a younger sister. But it did, not only all of this, danger, by the way, I'm going to say that. But when you're like, we'll get some cola cubes to make you feel better. And then you ate them all.
Yes.
You couldn't even do that bit
Not
right.
good.
Not forgiven.
I mean, cola cubes are great, but then you do need to give it the sweets to your sister.
That is true.
Brother Matthew.
Yes, I'm going to forgive. Great to see a bit of solidarity between the siblings there. Everyone's getting on. Don't want to get anyone in trouble. So, best to lie to everyone. Good work. What was a doll's house doing lying around? Should have put that up on the table, obviously. Shouldn't have just been willy-nilly on the floor.
Right.
It's asking to get fell into, my opinion. Also, I love cola cubes. Can you get them anymore? I've no idea. I loved cola cubes.
Yes.
So I don't blame them at all for eating all of those in the churchyard. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to forgive.
Not a decent one in there, I don't think. But anyway, maybe this depends on where you are in the sibling list. But your verdict, please, for Nick. Does he get your forgiveness? 61054. Also, just before the news, we got our match of the day, our big match coming in, our World Cup special in just a second. However, we did have a confession involving two brothers, some rugby tackling practice, a beanbag, their sister, a doll's house, and a trip to A&E. The people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Not forgiven, says Chris. What a pair of wimps. Why didn't they tackle each other rather than their little sister?
very good
And then
point.
lie about a head injury on top of it. A dump tackle for the both of you. Teresa in Glasgow. No way would I forgive them. I had two older brothers, and the oldest one let his pet white mice play in my beloved doll's house, and then they pooped in all the rooms.
There you go.
And Alex on Teesside says, forgiven. Don't mind me. I'm just ordering cola cubes on Amazon.
That's a very, very
Isn't that a good
point.
idea?
If you have a confession, please send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. It's confession time, but we need just a little treat there, just to wet the whistle.
Yeah.
What have you selected from the trolley today, Suze?
Well, Matt will turn his nose up at this, but I thought it's hot.
Yes.
So maybe not alcohol, and I've gone for a dash sparkling water, a Pink Lady Apple one.
Pink Lady Apple Water. Pink
Yes.
Lady Apple Water.
Pink Lady Apple sparkling water.
So it's a Pink Lady Apple.
Yeah, and sparkling water.
And it's
Sparkling
made of water.
Right.
Ah,
Okay,
sounds
that's
great.
very good.
It's very refreshing and delicious.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it's very good for you, and I can have one right now during the
You
show.
can.
Today's confession comes from Stephanie. Father Simon, Matt the Forgiver, Sensible Susie, and Honourable Holly. And this one begins, I love my husband. I really do. He has worked frontline in child protective services for many years. He is my hero and a great public servant. However, away from the tribulations of work, he reverts to his inner child, full of mischief, dad jokes, and a sense of humour that has equally amused and vexed me over the years. Upon beginning our holiday in Jersey this very spring, his antics began on the ferry. Crowding the deck with all the other holiday goers to see the boat off from the dock, the horn bellowed at its fullest and loudest. Did you say something, dear? He quips from across the deck, creating a chuntering of giggles and laughter. Grinning through my anger, I laughed and waved at him, commenting how funny he was, and explaining to confused passengers he was comparing me to the ship's foghorn.
Yes.
Day 2, we go to a dairy farm to see the famous Jersey cows. You probably know where this is going. The tour group was stroking the cows and one gave off a massive moo. Did you say something, dear? Ha ha, I laughed along with the tour group, tapping his shoulder and commenting how clever he was, comparing me to a cow. 2 weeks of this? I don't think so. I was going to have the next laugh. Day 4 came, and the location of the tour will stay anonymous to protect the establishment's integrity. All the adults gathered around the coffee wagon to get their morning fix of caffeine before the tour, all apart from the man-child that is my husband, who instead had a chocolate milkshake made with Jersey cream. Ooh. He also convinced a young couple to let their child indulge in a strawberry shake for breakfast, saying, well, we're all on holiday. Well, Father Simon, my husband's stomach has a temperamental relationship with lactose. And he didn't know that the tour was going to be quite so long, and I sensed that this could be my chance. Slurping and finishing his shake, the tour had proceeded a few hours when he began feeling the after effects. He was bloated and lingering behind somewhat. And then, during a moment of silence, the loud rumbling of an agitated stomach and a low whistling whisper of flatulence reverberated. Rolling thunder in a reverberating hall. Like most respectful British folk, everyone politely pretended not to hear it. But it was my turn to show him up. Seizing my chance, I span around. Did you say something, dear? Jaw open, eyes wide, he turned red as the group smirked and turned to look at him. However, it was not his ill tummy and loose wind. Everyone's attention turned instead to the child who had consumed the strawberry shake, you'll remember, at my husband's suggestion, as he was the one having the adverse effects. Squatting and holding his little tummy, his discomfort was visible, begging his parents to quickly find a toilet for him. Embarrassed and annoyed, the parents bickered about whose idea it was to give him a milkshake and ushered him away. They never returned to the tour. It was, of course, my husband. Father Simon and I cried all night. I felt awful, drawing attention to them, and begged forgiveness for the family and that poor child. My husband also cried, albeit laughing. This during the long bus ride back to the accommodation and throughout the night, and he was still sniggering the next morning. He will be listening. Surely even Matt can see the sense in denying him forgiveness. Well, I'm not at all convinced that's going to happen. Stephanie, who signs it, humble regards.
Yeah.
Who got her own back. She thought she got her own back perfectly. Unfortunately, it was the stomach noise came from a small child and not her husband. Although, could you tell the difference? Susie, what do you say to Stephanie?
Well, very funny, Stephanie. And I don't think I like your husband. I've not taken to him very well. Comparing you to a foghorn and a cow. And he bet he thinks he's really funny as well. And he was the one whose idea it was to give the child the milkshake in the first place. So I forgive you completely, and I don't forgive your husband.
Brother Matthew.
I'm going to forgive because it was just funny, wasn't it? He was very funny. The line about what was that you were saying, dear? I like that. That was very good. And it was the perfect cover, wasn't it? Because if you're going to break wind, then it's great if there's a child there who's also breaking wind, and you can blame everything on the kiddie with the who has a 4-hour tour of a dairy farm. There's not that much interesting in it. I'm sure dairy farms are lovely places, but 4 hours? Goodness me! Come on, there's the cows. Thanks very much. There's the milkers. Brilliant. That's an hour. Don't need 4 hours of that. So really, it's the dairy farm's fault. So it's the system, and for those reasons, I'm going to forgive.
Okay, people's verdict, please. Do you forgive Stephanie? I mean, clearly her husband is a top bloke.
He is, I think
so. In this matter, maybe you will forgive or not. 61054. First word is Simon. Today's confession came from Stephanie, and it was about her husband, who's clearly a wonderful bloke. However, his sense of humour did seem to revolve around comparing her to a cow and a foghorn, and she got her own back, but got the kid rather than her own husband's stomach. Does that follow that?
Yes, something.
It's something like that. Anyway, the people's verdict, here it comes.
Forgiven, says Emma in Liverpool. The husband sounds like a nightmare. Who compares their wife publicly to a foghorn or a cow? Rude. Martin in Edinburgh. I blame the milkshake. Maybe the milk was off for the kid to have that sort of reaction. And Rob says, totally forgiven. I'm reminded of an event 50 years ago when I was at school. Headmaster was teaching us. I was sat at the front and he broke wind loudly. He turned to me and said, "Stop that, Barnes." To which I replied, "Yes, sir. Which way did it go?" Class was in uproar and I got a detention.
Stop that, Barnes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great thing to say. I think that's very good. Okay, thank you for the verdicts. Thank you for the confessions. Send yours, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. 5:46, Greatest Hits Radio, and you have to grab any iced drinks as they come past, and that's exactly what Susie's providing. What have you got there nicely poised on your shelves of the trolley?
I've gone for a Dalston ginger beer soda, lots of ice, some fresh lime, delicious.
That is very good, and you can have 2 or 3, and that's absolutely fine.
You could.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll do precisely that. Today's confession comes from Dave. All right, Dave. Father Simon and the all-forgiving collective of kindness. My family and I live in a quiet, small town where not much of any great significance ever seems to happen. But around 6 years ago, two exciting events presented themselves upon our shared horizons. My eldest daughter was about to become a teenager, grand old age of 13, obviously, and a new Aldi supermarket store was announced to open in our little town. As fate would have it, these two exciting events were scheduled to occur on the same day. Our town has quite limited shopping options. There's a Tesco Express, a Spar shop, and an old independent corner shop, almost identical to Arkwright's in the BBC sitcom Open All Hours, replete with its own Ronnie Barker look-alike stood behind the counter in his light brown overcoat. To us, the prospect of an Aldi supermarket opening was very exciting. All Las Vegas razzmatazz. It was also our daughter's 13th, as I mentioned, and for her present, she had requested a fancy pair of Nike Air Max trainers. These would be her first ever pair of expensive designer trainers, and she was very keen to throw out her Tesco budget plimsolls, an upgrade to a member of the trendy crew. She'd been very specific about the exact pair that she desired. They were ice white, like someone who had recently had their teeth upgraded at a dentist in Turkey, save for the tiniest hint of pink in the logo branding on the shoe's tongue. But you get the picture. Our daughter was very excited to receive these, and we were treated to a daily countdown of the days remaining until her special day from about 6 weeks prior. And so the countdown had begun for our daughter's birthday and to the exciting opening of our town's very first Aldi supermarket. Finally, that eventful day arrived. It was a Saturday, and we were all off from work and school. That afternoon, my daughter proudly put on her brand new ice white Nike Air Max trainers, and we took a 15-minute stroll into town to try out the high glamour of our town's first Aldi, which has been mentioned a number of times now.
Doing very well out of this.
Luckily for my daughter, it was a glorious sunny summer's day with very dry ground. Otherwise, she wouldn't have risked wearing her lovely new trainers for fear of making them dirty. At the Aldi store, there was another mention, there was music pumping out and balloons were being given away. There was also face painting for the kids as a lovely party atmosphere filled the new supermarket. We collected a trolley and started exploring the aisles of this new mecca to see what treasures it held within. As we walked down the aisles, party music was playing alongside the DJ announcements of the many bargains and offers to be had. It was all very exciting. The song 9 to 5 by the Queen of Country, Dolly Parton, came on over the speakers. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving, says Dave, just showing that he knows the lyrics. I don't really know why, Father Simon, but the combination of the party music, my daughter's birthday, and the general new supermarket excitement in our small town rather got the better of me. And as we walked down the fresh produce aisle, I noticed the rather succulent large watermelons that were for sale. I decided that it would be hilarious to pick up two of these watermelons and do a little Dolly Parton impression whilst miming to her song. I lifted two up, one in each hand, and started performing. My wife and daughter laughed with appreciation for their husband/father's comedy genius. Spurred on by their appreciation, I continued my Dolly mime. As the song's chorus came to an end, I decided to add a little flourish. Quote, they just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. And on the word crazy, I decided to perform a sort of comedy Mexican wave with the two watermelons. And I lifted one up and then the other, back and forth a few times. And it was at this precise moment of the performance that really the confession kicks off, because as the watermelons did their Mexican wave, the grip of them in my hands began to falter. I felt the first and then the second falling from my grasp. Father Simon, I would like to seek forgiveness from my beautiful daughter. On her 13th birthday, during the first wearing of her very first fancy pair of trainers, because of my and the legendary Dolly Parton's actions, her ice white Nike Air Max trainers, not Tesco plimsolls, with just a hint of pink on the brand logo on the tongue, changed to all pink with just a hint of white. Her trainers were ruined. I would like to also seek forgiveness from the staff member at Aldi who on their first day in the job had to mop up two watermelons that had dropped to the floor and exploded over everything in their vicinity. Skin, flesh, and hundreds of seeds, all coated in melon slime, were now spread over two white trainers, and they were over many square meters with smashed, pulpy watermelon. I apologised to both the staff member and my daughter very sincerely, but I could clearly tell at the time that neither person was particularly accepting of the apology. I have since become a regular patron of our town's Aldi store, another mention.
There it is.
And have refrained from any more Dolly Parton impressions since that eventful day. I promise to continue to uphold the Dolly Parton ban indefinitely. I think that's a very wise thing there from Dave. What, did you think that was a sharp musical change?
I love
Just a
that.
tad.
Yeah.
I think
Great,
that was
great
all
thing.
part of the same piece of music.
Oh, was
Sister
it?
Susan,
Oh,
yes.
right.
What do you say to Dave?
Well, Dave, what a mess. Like, it doesn't say, but I hope he bought his daughter some new shoes because, yeah, sticky watermelon all over them is not good. And I love Dolly, as you know, and I am not sure I would have found it that funny. Little bit, yes, but I think he went too far, and for that reason, I'm not going to forgive him.
Brother Matthew.
Feels like this is firmly in the territory of dad jokes, isn't it? And we must protect dad jokes at all costs. He was having a lot of fun there with the watermelons, and it was very, very funny up until the point where the watermelons went for a Burton and ended up all over the shoes. And maybe there weren't any shoes that were pink. Maybe you need to think about that. Limited edition shoes, maybe? No. Well, it all went well in the end, and Aldi don't need any forgiveness, given that, they've had plenty of mentions already. So they're going to be very happy, and the daughter got the shoes, probably got some more shoes. Who knows? But it all went well for them.
61054.
So for that reason...
Just before the news, we had a confession from Dave about a new supermarket, his daughter's 13th, some new trainers, Dolly Parton, watermelons, and total chaos. The people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Vicky says forgiven. I can absolutely imagine him with the watermelons doing the Mexican wave move and them all crashing to the floor. He was just having some fun, and who cares that much about trainers? But Faye in Chichester says not forgiven, only because I worked in a supermarket for years, and clearing up spillages was the worst part of the job. He shouldn't have been fooling around. Gary says, forgiven. Dolly would have found that hilarious. After all, she did streak through Tom Jones's garden, which seems irrelevant. I don't know why that
Did
works,
she?
but I don't know.
Oh, well.
Let's hope she did.
If Gary said so, it must be true. Your confession, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. Watching, but anyway,
Come on.
it's an apricot and lemon dessert. That's basically.
Oh,
what
that's
it
all
is.
right. Well, let's say that then. Yeah.
That was Rotterdam, where it's 31 degrees. Beautiful sound. Let's check in with the drinks trolley. We need something long and refreshing, I think. What have you got, Suze?
I've gone for a very delicious Orangina, even better if you can get it in a glass bottle. And just for Matt, you can put gin in it and call it a gin Orangina.
Gin Orange Gina.
Oh, why don't you just call it Orange Ginia?
Nina. Orange Gina.
Yeah.
No, just go with the first one.
I think I'll just have an Orange Gina.
Yeah.
The normal one, out the
Yeah.
bottle. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Today's confession comes from Mr. Lloyd. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd. This is slightly distasteful if you're having your tea.
Good. I like those.
Father Simon, I am writing to you to confess my mortal sin pertaining to an unfortunate incident that happened just a few weeks ago. I was attempting to complete the lawn mowing after the recent spell of rain and warm weather that has consequently turned my garden into the wilds of Borneo. On completion of the destruction of my own little rainforest, I noticed my German shepherd dog, named Copper, was showing certain signs of discomfort by her excellent impression of a toboggan by dragging her rear end along the newly mown grass,
Oh, yes.
presumably to facilitate a scratching effect that would enable her to ditch the itch. I think we all...
Yeah, no, we got it.
Got
Yeah,
it.
to do that kind of thing.
Yep.
This has been a complaint that has plagued my poor dog's rear end from time to time.
Oh, good.
And the usual remedy... It gets worse.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
The usual remedy for this uncomfortable situation would be for my wife, Ruby, to don a pair of rubber gloves and ease the discomfort with a small dab of Vaseline that provided irritation relief to my beloved dog. On this occasion, though, my wife, still called Ruby, was unavailable to complete the task due to her impending visit to her friends. She therefore instructed me to do said deed. As you may imagine, this is not my favourite pastime. However, I do love my pets. So, I took, as it were, the bull by the horns, or the dog
Yes, by
by the tail,
Yep.
and powdered my hands to slip on a pair of rubber gloves. Looking around the kitchen, I failed to locate any Vaseline needed to grease the pooch's portal. It's not called that. I therefore shouted upstairs to my wife.
Come on.
My wife was midway through the getting ready process. My wife, ever accommodating, shouted back, "Catch!" And she threw a small container of said lubricant down the stairs and into my hands. Following this, myself and my beloved dog proceeded to the back garden, where I applied the soothing balm to the very surprised-looking dog.
Yes. Well, it would be. Yeah.
Me being inexperienced in this practice, I failed to apply a sufficient amount of the necessary ointment and felt it necessary to reapply to ensure complete relief for my faithful hound, and on completion, Copper looked happy to continue her day. I returned the pot of lubricant to my wife and continued to tidy up from the previously mentioned mowing duties. After all the tidying was complete, I went upstairs to change, and on entering the bedroom where my loving wife was completing her ensemble, I noticed that she was applying Vaseline to her face.
Oh, no.
I then inquired,
no.
"Is that the same pot of Vaseline that you just give me to..." She says, "Yes, why?" I then explained that due to my inexperience, I had to double dip my finger in the pot to obtain maximum lubrication. You put your finger back in the pot after the wipe? To say she was not impressed may be a slight understatement, as the container shot past my right ear. I therefore seek forgiveness not from my long-suffering wife, it's her own fault she married me, but from my poor dog, Copper, for any indignity suffered, and the sofa is good for my back when sleeping there anyway.
Yes.
Yours in hope and further hope that I have to make it back into the loving arms of my beautiful wife sometime before the end of the year. That's from Mr. Lloyd. I'm very good.
Nice.
Again.
Yep.
In the mix.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I would have thought if the tub of Vaseline had been used at all for the dog, that's for the dog. You keep it separate. You don't use it as part of your makeup routine.
No, that's true.
But I can understand that she just thought it would be one dip and one wipe and then that's it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do two, you're going back in and that's not good. So I can understand the exasperation. Plus, I can understand how Mr. Lloyd got himself into that situation. Sister Suze, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't forgive Mr. Lloyd here. You need a bit more organisation. You should have a Vaseline tub just for this purpose. You could put a label on it that says the dog's name, and therefore you will know that Vaseline
Copper's
is
Vaseline.
always for Copper. Yes, Copper's Vaseline. But also, he could have explained it when he gave his wife the Vaseline tub back and said, "Do you know what? Should we just keep this for the dog? Yeah, I think you should. Don't use that anywhere else." And so disgusting. No, thank you, Mr. Lloyd. Don't forgive.
Brother Matthew.
I mean, it's one of those chores, isn't it, that nobody's really going to look forward to applying the Vaseline to your dog's thing. Pooch's Portal, yes. And you're right, they should have two pots of Vaseline, but who has two pots of Vaseline? I don't. But then I don't have a dog.
I've got many.
And also, you never know how much you're going to need. I wouldn't know how much you need to put onto the thing. It could be too much. You don't want to have too much, because then it'll fall off. So yes, let's say we're going to forgive the thing around the. But let's just say we're going to forgive. There you go. Yeah. Send us into the weekend.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, people's verdict, please, for Mr. Lloyd. Does he get your forgiveness or not? 610. Hang on a second. He's just going to say. There you go.
All right.
61054. First word is Simon. However, before the news, we had a confession involving Copper the dog, an itchy bottom, some Vaseline, and a certain misunderstanding between Mr. Lloyd and Mrs. Lloyd. The people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Absolutely not forgiven, says Anna. What an absolute lack of forward thought. At what point, following first application to said area, did our confessor think, I'll just put that dirty digit right back in the pot to get a little bit more? Had he not thought of a spoon? His poor wife, I'd have been fuming too. But Darren in Portsmouth says, forgiven. It's her silly fault for not giving specific instructions and not telling him it's part of her beauty routine rather than just part of the dog's booty routine. Totally her fault. And Adam the truck driver says, forgiven. I blame the wife, but only having one jar of Vaseline for two purposes. Have one jar of Vaseline for her cosmetics and the second jar of Vaseline for the dog. And the one for the dog, perhaps scribble out the V.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for all of those. Thank you for the verdicts and thank you for the confessions. If you have one, you can send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk.